99, because that's the top you can get, is 99 percentile. Can they get there? Absolutely. Why are they at the 95 percentile? Because on some of their assessments, they didn't answer every question correctly. U.S. history teachers, this I always use as an example. When they were at the 99 percentile, you had to answer all but one of the questions correct. Everyone had to be correct but one. You could still be in the 99 percentile. But if you missed 3, you're in the 81st percentile. You missed 3 questions. Those high achieving students, typically, it's not they don't know the content, unless you just had a bad teacher. It's just they overthink the questions. They look at the distractors or saying, well, the way that the question's written, I think it could be this, but it could be this. And you're going to see those type of students that's going to do this to you. And so when that happens, it's very possible that they drop value added. And it's not, and it's an average of all your students' value added and what they're projected. So if you had a lot of them miss 3 or more questions, then that's a reflection on you. You didn't teach the concept that they need to be assessed on. But if you only have 1 or 2, then it's just because they overthought the question.
But what if they get the same?
That's 1 year's worth of growth. If they start at the 40-yard dash line and they stay and they go all the way back around, that's perfect.
So that reflects good on the
That's
teacher.
absolutely good.
Okay.
If they're projected to be at the 95 percentile and they hit it, that's great. Yeah, they could be in the 90th percentile and they get to 90th percentile again, that's great. We want that. Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a misconception, but I always show them on state assessments what 1 or 2 questions can do to that ranking process. This right here is the...
Watch your time. I love everything.
Okay, I'm going real quick right here. This is it. This is value added right here. Thank you for saying that.
No,
I do this every time. This is our value added report. This shows 3 years worth of growth. We use this to show how well we perform from year to year. This one right here, what we do is we use that. See how it's underlined? It's an active link. When you do that, you get this kind of report. We use this to emphasize to teachers trends on how well they teach. If you'll notice right here, remember that pie chart we looked at a few minutes ago? It's basically one-dimensional. This shows the intentiveness or the depth of what number of students missed value added. This trend right here means that this teacher or this school taught at a high level, rigorous style, and also taught at a high pace. You're saying, Kevin, how do you know that? Because everybody except for your gifted students exceeded what they were supposed to do. So the teacher, we talk about this a lot with our teachers, look and see what your trends and patterns are. If you have a pattern like this, that means you were teaching, you were trying to hit every single standard, and you didn't do a lot of remediation. But you did do a lot of enhancement, enrichment.
So the ones that grew were your highest kids,
Yep.
all the rest didn't.
That's right.
This is the chart you need to be familiar with as a teacher.
Absolutely.
Pull this up at the beginning of the year, and then all of those, like you said, is active, so you can find out which kids fall in that.
This is where your kids' names are right here. If you click on that, it gives you a list of all your kids' names. Real quick, remember I was telling you about the importance of a teacher? This is a good example of a student right here. If you look, this student didn't get above the 50th percentile all the way till they got to when? 9th grade, right? Look at this. This right here we anticipate, because typically when you see that, that's 7th grade. Students get that first year, first 2 or 3 years in middle school, the socialization, different type of teachers, you do classes, you got locker changes and all that. We see this a lot. What's remarkable about this student right here is look when they got to the high school and how much one teacher could make a difference in their life. When they got to Algebra 1, look, boom, they went to the highest level. That means that somewhere, even though she didn't or he didn't perform that well, they developed enough skill set that when they did get to a good teacher, they performed really well.
But see, this is where you can talk about building relationships. You pull up this data for this student, and you say, okay, you see the big drop there in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say to them, hey, I see you dropped in 6th grade on your test. You say, hey, tell me about 6th grade. What you like, what you not, and try to dig into those kind of things to see if you can find out, what's going on in their history.
Mm-hmm. And then real quick, this is teachers' information, so this will be affecting you in 2 years. Teachers get reports. This particular, I just use this teacher at a particular school, and this is a level 3 teacher. Level 3 is good. Level 3 is good. That's considered to be average or above. And you can have, and this is what I want to emphasize, you can have negative growth as a teacher and still be considered a level 3. You can have a -1 total growth of -1 on a rubric from 1 to 5 or 10 and still be considered an average teacher. You have that range to be a level 3, this is a level 4, then it's a level 5. Okay? This is a teacher report. This is how you trend. This is how you look at this and say, uh-oh, look what I did here. I did a great job with my lower level kids. This is a reflection of you as a teacher. This is no longer that report I showed you with the diagnostic. This is you. So you did a great job remediating students, but what we forgot to do was challenge those students that are average or above and pace them at a faster pace.
This is a great way at the beginning of the year to set up a seating chart where you don't really know much about them except this right here. And I know who my low kids are, I know who my high kids are, so maybe I'm going to pair them up to start with until I get to know them.
Absolutely. Start your small group discussions and instruction. And then real quick, I want to talk about, I know Dr. Lucer was talking about your evaluation process. I wanted just to share with you, this came out today. So the year that you start as a full-time teacher, your value-added piece is going to be based on if you're teaching a tested subject. So if you're teaching math, ELA, US history, science, whether it's biology or chemistry, by the time that you get to be your first year, you'll see right here that 35% of your evaluations going to be based on your student growth in your classroom. This is a tested subject. So this is 2018-19. Next year, as you start your fall as student teacher, the people that are watching you teach, they have options a lot more than what you'll have. They'll go back and see if they have prior testing history, and they'll take that score better than they will if they didn't perform as well on next year's assessment. But the first year that you'll be in the classroom, 35% will be based on how well your students. The 50% is going to be based on your observations and your walkthroughs and so forth. And then that right there, 15% is based on graduation rate, could be ACT scores. That's pretty much a given for most of our teachers.
So therefore, y'all got to look at that data he's talking about. If 35% of your evaluation is based on that, you need to learn and read those immediately.
And if you're a CTE teacher, or if you're in drama or choir or something, this is the next slide I was going to show you. 75%, if you're in a non-tested subject, by the time you get, this is next year, but this is going to carry over to 18-19, 75% of yours is going to be based on your qualitative, which is your walkthroughs, your observations, environment, and also your planning. But 10% of yours is going to be based on how well your school did. So you were talking about Laverne Middle a few minutes ago. You talk to those teachers, those that are non-tested subjects, they were upset because they were a level 1 school last year. So they get that 1 that's assigned to them. They could have been a really good teacher on their subject areas, but as a school, they were a level 1. So that's why we want to incorporate collaboration between content areas, regardless if you're in PE or if you're in drama or choir or CTE. Everybody has to collaborate and integrate math and English and science and social studies into your curriculum. And then you're familiar with this. Rutherford County does something different than what the state says. You have to have 6 observations your first full year as a teacher. 6? So it depends on the county. That's why I said that.
Okay.
Yeah, Rutherford County we use 7, but the minimum is 6, and then that's the domains that you have to do that. So it depends on what county you're with. I'm not sure what Williamson does or Sumner or Murray. The last thing I was going to say is this. This is on the state website. Please use this because next year while you're a student teaching, go to the state website and you can look at job fairs and we have one and we're still always looking for teachers. But on the state website, they have what they call teachers.com. It has a list of jobs that are open right now throughout the state. And I encourage you to click on that, send in a resume, send in whatever you need in order to obtain maybe a phone call, interview, or send in a resume or whatever. But there are jobs out there, especially in math and ELA and foreign language, that are just abundantly, we give signing bonuses for those three areas: ELA, math, and foreign language, if you're one of those types of teachers. And that's it in a heartbeat. That's quick. I'm sorry I went so long.
No, we're happy to, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, there's my contact. I'll be glad to meet with you, talk to you, come to my office. I'll meet you at a school. I'm very easily accessible. Just call me. Be glad to meet with you all. And then next year, when you get your school and your student teaching, I'll be seeing you all. Please grab me. Say, hey, I remember you from last year. Come in here. I want to ask some questions for you. Be glad to, or I'll steer you to the right person. Okay.
To come just for updating us.
Yeah.
So much.
It changes, yes,
It's up to
yes,
you.
yes. So there's candy there. Please eat it. For your Skype, you're going to need it. Thank you all. I appreciate it.